Have you ever reached out and asked a client for a testimonial and got back crickets? Or if you're just starting out serving clients, wondered how in the world you can get testimonials when you haven't finished helping them yet? If so, today's episode is going to help. Welcome to the Online Business Launchpad podcast. I'm Trudy Rankin, and I bring you stories, tips, and advice from online entrepreneurs who are finding success, because if they've done it, so can you. I've been running my own online business for more than 8 years now, with a few pivots, lumps, bumps, and successes along the way, and I've become passionate about helping overworked online business owners like you increase revenue and profits without burning out. And I use my experience and the experience of others to help hundreds of people grow their online business to the size that they want. And one of my greatest joys is working with people who, because of life circumstances, need a flexible work from home option that helps them pay the bills. My mission is simple. I want to help you solve the challenges you face as a far too busy online business owner so you can have more time and money for yourself and your family and more choices in how you live your life. So if you're ready to, once again, dive into online business building and learn how to get client testimonials without having to beg for them, stick around. Now, testimonials are so important in providing proof that A, you know what you're doing, B, that what you're doing is working, and that C, your clients like the work that you do. Now, testimonials build credibility and authority, and they really, really help with giving that know, like, and trust factor a rocket boost. Because as much as we might believe in ourselves, unless other people are talking about our work and how amazing it is, it can be really hard to get clients to buy. But the whole process of asking someone for a testimonial can feel really awkward and uncomfortable. And a lot of people never even ask because it feels even worse to ask and then not get a response. So what to do? In my experience, there are 4 key things that you can do to help get rid of that ick factor when asking for testimonials and increase the chance that you'll actually get a response. Now, the first, most obvious and important thing is to provide exceptional customer service. Make sure you fulfill the promise you made when your clients hired you. Go the extra mile to make sure they are successful. And yes, that can sometimes mean extra work, but it's worth it. A delighted customer is going to be so much more likely to sing your praises than someone who just got not so great or so-so service. Now, the second thing in getting testimonials is to make it easy for your customers to leave their testimonials. For example, I always try to ask for testimonials just at the end of a successful training session with a client or a group of clients. It's just so much easier to ask them in the moment when what they've learned is fresh in their minds and they can be spontaneous in what they say. I always like to ask what their biggest aha moment is based on what they've just learned. And another good question is to ask how their future will be different because of what they've just learned. If what you teach is transformational, you'll get some amazing and sometimes tearful, heartfelt responses. Also, asking for a testimonial in the moment stops it being just another thing for them to add to their to-do list. Plus, you get the testimonial on the spot. You don't have to spend time writing an email or text and then crossing your fingers and hoping they'll find the time to do the testimonial. Because even the most delighted, well-intentioned client might say yes to doing a testimonial and then never get around to it. But what happens if you don't have a chance to ask for a testimonial on a live call? What can you do then? I found 2 ways that hugely increase the chances that someone will actually follow through with their promised testimonial. And these are my third and my fourth tips. So the third tip is to send your client a link to a very simple form you've created. The form should have 2 to 3 very simple questions that guide your client through the thought process for creating their testimonial. For example, ask them the name of the course or the service that they've just consumed from you, if that's applicable. You want to ask them what they were struggling with before working with you and the impact it had on them. You want to ask them what was the experience like to work with you. And then finally, you ask them what's changed because they've worked with you. Now, don't worry if you don't hit every bullet point or they don't hit every bullet point in their response. You want their viewpoint. So what you send through is simply just a guide to get them started. So here's an example of a testimonial I received from Jason Willis-Lee after he completed my self-paced quiz creators course, and I sent him a form. Now, Jason is a professional translator who coaches other translators on how to make their translation service more profitable. And he said, I'm a complete newcomer to quiz and scorecard marketing, so all the info was very valuable to me. Trudy Rankin is clearly a very knowledgeable expert on the topic at issue. I now hope to build out my quiz as a powerful lead magnet to get to know my audience much better and not rely so much on assumptions that may well be incorrect. I'm glad I signed up. Thank you so much. Now, the nice thing is you can send out your form to your list of past clients. So not only should you pick up a few testimonials, but your email is going to be reminding everyone of the good work that you do. Now, my fourth tip is that you want to actually make good use of LinkedIn or other social media channels. And of course, you can always share that form that I just mentioned on social media, but I personally prefer not to do that. The second really effective way of getting great testimonials, and as I said, my fourth point, is to send your LinkedIn connections, the ones that you worked with, a request for a recommendation. And this has been a particularly successful way for me to get recommendations, which I can then repurpose as testimonials because they're public, they're intended to be public. So here's an example of one from Jillian Benbow, who's a digital community expert and the director of community experience for SPI, or Pat Flynn's and Matt Garland's Smart Passive Income Pro and Academy communities. And she said, Trudy and I collaborated on an introduction to community management workshop in which Trudy designed a quiz to help attendees know what to focus on based on their responses. It was an exceptional way to reinforce the workshop content and to embed learning in a memorable and unique way. I learned so much from how Trudy approaches quiz design and would absolutely recommend learning her approach. Now, of course, you can ask for a review on any third-party platform and turn those into testimonials as well. Think Yelp, for instance, or your Google business profile. Now, one thing I don't recommend is to offer incentives to leave a testimonial. There may be circumstances where that's appropriate, but typically, I think it's much better to ask people to provide an honest testimonial. If you think about that whole concept of reciprocity, if you've helped your clients are going to want to help you. And the best thing to do is just ask. Now, here's a pro tip. If your clients do want to give a testimonial, but they are super, super busy, you can offer to put some words together so they can use them as a starting point. I've done that before, and the person emailed me back straight away and said, thank you so much. Here's how I've tweaked it, is what I said, okay. And of course I said yes. It was a lovely testimonial that now reads a lot better than the starting words I provided, and it's personal to that person. So those are 4 of the ways that you can ask for a client testimonial without having to feel embarrassed or icky about it, and increase the chance that you'll get an amazing response in return. So just to summarize again, you want to give great customer service. You want to ask for an in-the-moment testimonial when you're on a live call. You want to make it easy to provide the testimonial by sending them a form. You want to use social media platforms like LinkedIn to ask for recommendations, or third-party platforms like Google Business Profile, and then turn those recommendations into testimonials on your website. And remember, the fortune is in the follow-up. If you ask for a testimonial and don't get a response, make sure to send a note a week or 2 later reminding them of your request and noting that, of course, that A, you know that they're busy, but getting their testimonial would be really helpful to you in your business, and B, that having a testimonial from them would make it easier for other people to decide whether to work with you or not. So there you have it. My goal for you is to take these tips that I've shared and go out and get some testimonials for your business and the amazing work that you do with your clients. Take care.
If you're a longtime listener to the Online Business Launchpad podcast, you'll know that I often talk about Pat Flynn's SPI Pro community. Now, what you might not know is that I'm a founding member of that community. And every year I keep signing up because I get so much value out of it. For example, every month I meet with a mastermind group whose members are at the same spot on the entrepreneurial journey as I am. And we celebrate our wins and navigate challenges together. And if we want to chat in between meetings, we just easily jump into the space that's reserved just for our mastermind and just say whatever's on our mind. It's a really supportive space where we all keep growing in confidence and capabilities, knowing that someone or several someones have got our back. And that's not all the value I get from being part of the SPI Pro community. I have access to really relevant trainings that Pat has put together. Plus, I've connected with several amazing guests for my podcast, experts who shared invaluable insights with my audience. And the opportunities just keep coming. I've had the honor of being on Pat Flynn's own podcast and even teaching other SPI Pro members about some of the things that I'm expert in. And being a part of the SPI Pro community is like having my own special group of advisors that I can reach out to anytime I need them. Imagine having that network at your fingertips, where every connection inspires and every interaction teaches something new. That's what SPI Pro is all about for me. It's more than a community. It's a place where we as entrepreneurs come together to push the boundaries of what we can achieve. So are you ready to be part of something bigger? To learn, share, and grow alongside fellow business owners who are just as driven as you? Check it out for yourself and see for yourself the difference a truly collaborative community can make. And if you'd like to use my affiliate link to sign up, go to onlinebusinessliftoff.com/SPI-Pro. If you do, I'll receive a small commission at no extra cost to you, for which I thank you. And once you're in the community, say hello, and I'll be delighted to show you around. So join me in the SPI Pro community, and let's reach new heights together. Once again, that's onlinebusinessliftoff.com/SPI-Pro. And we'll see you there.